name of the person seated next to you, right? So we are here because there is a cause. We have an attachment to Professor William Senteza Kajubi. For us here at Makerere University, he was a two-time Vice Chancellor of Makerere University. And when we talk about our motto, we build for the future, we know that Professor Senteza William Kajubi really is an icon that stood out, and he contributed to building for the future of Makerere University. Our theme is Uganda's higher education in the digital age. We are in the digital era. You've heard about things to do with artificial intelligence, digitization of higher education, cyberspaces. You've also heard about issues to do with breaking barriers. And then if you remember what we all went through during the COVID-19 era, and where physical spaces and lecture rooms were disrupted, it is important that when we have a theme, Uganda's higher education in the digital age, and you're here, it is a very special day for us. In line with our program, permit me to inform you that our host, that is the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, together with the co-host, that is His Excellency the Ambassador, William Pope, are already in the area. They are having a courtesy call, and within very few minutes, they'll be joining us so that we start this occasion officially. May I also request that we get our phones and ensure that our phones are in the silent mode. Please don't switch them off, but for us to be able to follow the proceedings, let us ensure that our phones are in the silent mode in honor of this second public lecture dedicated to Professor William Senteza Kajubi. Permit me to recognize some of the following people. We welcome Owekitiibwa Noah Chiyimba, Minister for Lukiiko, Protocol and General Duties in Katikkir's office, Ambassador Moses Chiwe Sebunya, representing International University of East Africa, you're welcome. Professor Andrew Chitua, representing Vice Chancellor of Kampala International University, Professor Paul Mugambi and your dear wife, Mrs. Mugambi, a friend to Makerere University and a friend to Professor Kajubi family. We also welcome the following universities: Victoria University, Metropolitan International University, Nkumba University, Kampala International University, Inter-University Council of East Africa, and University of Eswatini. And we say that Phil at Makerere University. Makerere University celebrated 100 years of excellent service to humanity. And as we embrace the other century, Makerere University is ready to continue to impact lives. And if we are going to impact lives, we have to ensure that Makerere University in the 21st century is part of the fourth industrial revolution. And so a theme like the one that we have today, which talks about digitization of Uganda's higher education, is timely, and I will be glad if everyone here contributes during the question and answer session. But I saw some people smiling, knowing that I think we are very many, and we will have representative samples. We have 10 colleges at Makerere University, but today this is dedicated to the College of Education and External Studies. Let us join our hands for the College of Education and External Studies. Yes, it is a college that has nurtured many distinguished sons and daughters of the land in Africa and beyond. Yes. Hello? We have a program, and this is how our program will run. When the Vice Chancellor and His Excellency the Ambassador are joining us, I request you to stand up so that we welcome them. Thereafter, we will rise up for the anthems and will be led by Makerere University School of Performing Arts and Film. We will then have opening speeches with introductory remarks from the Principal, College of Education and External Studies, Professor Anthony Mugaga, meaning he's rich. I think this name Mugaga. Then a brief of Professor Senteza Kajubi that will be delivered by a family member, Mr. Waswa Kajubi. We'll listen to remarks from the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe. We will also receive remarks from the U.S. Ambassador, Ambassador William Pope. Then we'll have our keynote speakers introduced. Then we will have the public lecture and also a panel discussion, followed by a question and answer session, which will engage actively the audience. Then we will have presentation of souvenirs to key guests and a photo moment, and we'll end with the anthems. Thank you so much. So what is going to happen in a few minutes, I'm going to humbly request a few people, if you feel you really know about Professor William Senteza Kajubi, and I know that's why we are all gathered here, kindly raise your hand, you mention your name, and tell us in your life. May I have, yes, oh. That one knows too much. I pray he will use 2 minutes. Yes, to Professor Lugujo.
He taught me geography.
Prof, I'm really requesting that maybe you come this other side so that the audience is able to see you. Prof, you'll mention your name, the university, all organization, because I know you have several capacities, and then also who is Professor William Senteza Kajubi to you?
My name is Elia Bulugujo. I am currently the Executive Director of Uganda Vice Chancellor's Forum. This position means you must have been a Vice Chancellor. It's the promotion. Then you look over all of the universities, the chancellors, the vice chancellors in Uganda. I first came in contact with Professor Kajubi in July 1960, when I was in senior 1. He was a tutor in the School of Education. They were together with J.A. Bright of English and Professor Watson of History and Professor Macpherson of Mathematics. And I was at Makerere College School. And this school was the one training teachers for both East Africa and Central Africa. Students came from Malaysia, Northern Rhodesia, Southern Rhodesia, and Nyasaland. Nyasaland is current Malawi. Northern Rhodesia is Zambia. And Southern Rhodesia is Zimbabwe. So he came in as a tutor. And for us, we were guinea pigs. So the student teachers would come in front, and those four would sit behind us. Professor Kajubi, including those three I mentioned before, and they would examine the students. At that time, we were encouraged to read. They were not giving us notes, but we had many textbooks. And Professor Kajubi told us about the prairies, the Rhinelands. He knew quite a lot about USA. And that's how I got to know. But he was encouraging us to read. And since then, throughout our careers in O-level, we are not getting notes, not in physics, not in chemistry. We are making our own what? Notes. And that is why the school came to be prominent in sciences. Most of my contemporaries became doctors, PhD physics, and all that. And in 1969, after my first degree here, there was a principal called Y. Kerule, Professor Y. Kerule. He summoned me in his office, and he told me that now that you have got a first class in math and physics, I'm going to America to get you a place. And indeed he went, and he placed me at Caltech. That's where I did my master's and PhD. But when I went there, I had always to look for milestones of what Professor Kajubi was telling me. So I had to go by car to Ohio. I wanted to see the cornfields, maize, I think. They call it corn belt. All of that I saw. So that is what he has inspired me to be internationalized. And now I'm an international student. I'm an international person. I've spent 40 years with UNESCO. So this is what I know. The smaller part, very small part about Professor Kajubi. But he was a great, great, great geographer. He inspired young people. We were barefooted. I was barefooted in senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, but I was a good footballer. So they loved me. I put on shoes in senior 4. You can imagine, in urban area here, but I was accepted.
Yes, Professor Lukujo, thank you so much. Let us give Prof a round of applause. And let us all rise to welcome the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, together with our Ambassador, His Excellency William Pope, U.S. Ambassador to Uganda. Let us all remain standing for the anthems. We are going to be led by the School of Performing Arts and Film at Makerere University.
stripes and bright stars, through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Under rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Makerere, Makerere, we build for the future, the great Makerere. Great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee. Great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee. From east and west, from north and south, all voices singing, arise, Makerere. Rise up and rise, high up and high. All voices singing, arise, Makerere. Makerere, Makerere, we build for the future, the great Makerere. Great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee. Great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee. Do not forget to obey those who have gone through the gates of Makerere. Give them pride, give them the joy, all to remember the gates of Makerere. Makerere, Makerere, we build for the future, the great Makerere. Great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee. Great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee.
Kindly take your seats. Thank you very much, Dr. Milton Wabiona, together with our choir from Makerere University School of Performing Arts and Film. Yes, permit me to humbly request you to put your hands together for the following institutions: Makerere University, Oh, yeah. U.S. Mission Uganda, College of Education and External Studies. Oh, wow, that is louder. Okay. Yes, and the family of Professor William Senteza Kajubi. Okay, that is very great. We are honored, Makerere University, together with the U.S. Mission Uganda, are hosting the second annual public lecture for Professor William Senteza Kajubi, Fulbright Memorial Lecture. In a few minutes, permit me, Vice Chancellor and Your Excellency the Ambassador, to mention some of the key people in the audience. We have Owekitiibwa Joyce Mpanga. You're most welcome. We have Owekitiibwa. Okay. We have Professor Lugujo, Uganda Vice Chancellor's Forum. We are honored that the following universities are represented: Kyambogo University, Uganda Christian University, Busitema University. We also have a school, and I know that Professor William Senteza Kajubi was a teacher. We are honored to have Midland High School in the audience. Yes, we also have at Makerere University, we have professors, associate professors, senior lecturers, principals, deputy principals, administrative staff, alumni of Makerere University, and our dear students. You're welcome. We have Owekitiibwa Noah Kiyimba, Minister for Lukiiko, Protocol, and General Duties, Katikkir's Office. Ambassador Moses Chiwe Sebunya, International University of East Africa. Professor Semakula Chiwanuka, you're most welcome. Professor Andrew Chitua, Representative Vice Chancellor of Kampala International University. Professor Paul Mugambi and Mrs. Mugambi, a friend to Professor Kajubi family. Professor Elia Blugujo, Uganda Vice Chancellor's Forum. Victoria University, Metropolitan International University, Nkumba University, Kampala International University, International University of East Africa, University of Eswatini. Then we have these wonderful people from the U.S. Mission Uganda who have been part of the organizing committee. Ellen Massey, Public Affairs Counselor, you're welcome. And Emmy, you're also most welcome, the Public Engagement Officer, U.S. Mission in Uganda. Permit me to also recognize we have several people following the lecture online. To all our online participants, we are honored that you're following this lecture to celebrate a life well lived and also an icon in the transformation of higher ed. Technos are also following us online. In line with our program, permit me to invite the principal of the College of Education and External Studies, Professor Anthony Mugaga. The name Mugaga means he's rich, extremely rich. So let him walk to the podium as a wealthy member of staff of Makerere University. And Professor Anthony Mugaga, before you really read your remarks, you're going to take us through a moment of silence so that we dedicate Professor William Senteza Kajubi to continue resting in peace. Then after that moment of silence, we will go to your remarks. Thank you very much.
I beg that we all stand and remember not only Professor Kajubi, but all the professors and vice chancellors who have led Makerere and have gone to that world yonder. A moment of silence. Thank you very much. Could you please take your seats? Your Excellency William W. Pop. His names are very tricky. It is very easy to mispronounce it and then you land in trouble. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Nawangwe Barnabas, USA Mission Officers, the Vice Chancellors from the various universities we collaborate with, ministers from central government and from Uganda government and other traditional institutional facilities, the professors around, academic and non-academic staff from Makerere and from out, students, members of the Kajubi fraternity and family, the wife, Nalongo Kajubi, the friends of Professor Kajubi, the workmates of Professor Kajubi, the students of Professor Kajubi, the keynote speakers for the day, Dr. Janice Frail Samani and Dr. Arista MacLeod. I don't know whether it's the spelling, this pronunciation. The discussant panelists, Dr. Amina Zawede, Dr. Dorothy Okello, Dr. Paul Muyinda, and their moderator, Dr. David Kabugo. All of you, you are extremely welcome to Makerere University. In the morning, we thought we would have said on this very cold day, but as the pearl stands, it oscillates between cold and warmth. Your Excellency, in our culture, when it rains, we believe it is blessings. And if it is a newlywed and it rains on the day of their wedding, they say they are going to get either twins or triplets. So we hope to get twins or triplets from this engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm greatly honored to be the very first person to speak on this occasion. I want to welcome you all and wish you very fruitful deliberations. In a special way, I want to welcome Your Excellency. Being told you are new in Uganda. Probably you are seeing very many new things around. But as Uganda, maybe you are told that when you move in the streets of Kampala, you will see lions, geckos. You will see them if you want to see them. But also you will see the human beings. We want to thank the US for the great offers it gives to us, to Makerere and to us as a college. This year we have a faculty who is on Fulbright, Dr. Julius Caesar Jingo of Kiswahili Education, and we thank the US taxpayers for that. This year, the Senteza Kajubi Memorial Lecture is held under the theme Uganda's Higher Education in the Digital Age, Navigating the Future through technological advancement. It sounds an abstract topic, but when you look keenly, to us who are a teacher training facility, we are challenged. At the start of the year, a new concept came in, artificial intelligence. So the question I was posing to my colleagues, do we still have work? Might robots not replace us? And one member said, a well-trained teacher will never be replaced. But a bogus and hopeless teacher will automatically be replaced by robot. The Senteza Memorial Lecture is an occasion that holds a special place in our hearts. It brings memories of Professor Senteza and memories of all those people who have done great things in our education terrain. Senteza held our education terrain for close to 30 years. He is the father of universal primary education in Uganda. Ipso facto, the father of universal secondary education. With his recommendation for universalizing primary education, the population of primary students rose from 4 million to close to 7 million, which was phenomenal. Professor Senteza is not only an alumnus of our esteemed institution, but a beacon of hope and progress in the field of education, not only in Uganda, but in the region. We've tried to reflect, to engage, and make this Senteza Memorial Lecture not an occasion for us to meet and look at our buddies, look at our colleagues, laugh around, but we pray, we meet and come out with something new each year, something more tangible. And I'm sure if Professor Senteza came back, he would be very sad if he found us meeting and talking and going with nothing. But he would be very happy for us to meet, talk, and go away with something. And this year I want to go away with a reflection on the digital terrain, which has come to stay. I want to go away with a reflection on how best can we use the digital world to better ourselves, to do research, and to carry out not only innovative pedagogy, but also to better the terrain of Uganda. I want to end by asking us some questions. If today Professor Senteza came back, what would he tell us? What would we tell many of us who go abroad to study, and after studying, we throw away our passports and run in the corridors of those countries we've gone to? We are told when Senteza went out, he was given a chance to stay in the US and said, no, I'll go back and take what I've learned to my people. I want to leave us with a question. What will the world remember us for on that day when we are in a casket? Will it remember us for having destroyed very many younger souls, or for having lifted very many young souls? Senteza is remembered for teaching, lifting, and upholding the values of academic integrity. Us who are here, the current professors, can we comfortably move in the shoes of Senteza? Or we are mere cosmetic professors. Someone looks at Professor Mugaga, and Mugaga has to struggle to tell people that he's a professor. Or people are able to see that indeed you are a professor. And I think that's what we should take out from this memorial lecture. That let people see the professorship in us by what we say, what we do, and not struggle to tell people that, no, don't you know I'm a professor? Professorship is not told, it is seen in someone. So thank you very much. I want to thank the USA for sponsoring this occasion. I want to thank Makerere University and the Vice Chancellor, who has been extremely supportive to us. Sir, your wise counsel has made us reach where we are. I want to thank my team. Your Excellency, in our culture, they say it is the chief who repairs the road, but in reality, it is the lieutenants on the ground. I should confess that my involvement is the talking now, but the great work has been done by Professor Bisaso, my deputy. I don't know where he is, who would stand up for recognition. Professor Bisaso, he has done all the work. I don't want to take all the credit, though how it works here in Africa. When things go on well, the Vice Chancellor takes the credit. When things go wrong, I take the blame, but I pass on the blame to my deputy. So I want to thank everyone, the team which has been behind all this. You make a very good accountability for all the resources the US and the university gave you. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for God and my country as we build for the future.
Yes, thank you very much. At the strategic level at Makerere University, the person who has been guiding us has been Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, who is our Vice Chancellor of Makerere University and our host. Then the organizing committee comprises Dr. Ronald Bisaso, Dr. Raymek Okech, Dr. Michael Walimbwa, Miss Betty Chakwa, Dr. Stella Chen, Mr. Dinasali, Dr. Godfrey Mayende, and Mr. Awelu Hinganyi. Thank you so much for ensuring that this is a success. When you look at some of the brochures you received, there was a statement, Fulbright. Do we have any Fulbright scholars in the audience, just to stand up and wave? Fulbright hey, wow. Okay, thank you for being with us. Yes, there is also Professor James Chiwanuka Tondo from North Carolina State University, as well as Uganda Christian University. He's a Fulbright scholar, 2017/2018. We are honored he's part of the audience. We are also happy that we've been joined by Dr. Ham Morila, former Minister of ICT. And now this one is one of us. Although Dr. Morila, you might claim him, but we are glad, claim her, but we are glad to see Dr. Nora Morila. We welcome you back home, where you actually belong. Yes, she was once our director, DICTS. So when we have such a person in the audience, and the theme is Uganda's higher education in the digital era, and we have Dr. Nora Morila with us, Then we also have Dr. Hamurila with us. Those are experts in that area. We also welcome Owekitiibwa Rotelian Nelson Kawalia, former Speaker of Buganda Lukiiko. Then we also have Owekitiibwa Professor Masagazi Masazi, former Minister of Education and Sports, Buganda Kingdom, and also former, or let's say Principal Emeritus, College of Education and External Studies, and currently the Chairperson of Makerere University Research and Innovations Fund. Yes, permit me to welcome a family member, that is Mr. Waswa Kajubi, to the podium to tell us about Professor Senteza Kajubi. In line with our program, there is a brief of Professor Senteza Kajubi, and the best person on behalf of the family to give this brief is Mr. Waswa Kajubi. And I believe Mr. Waswa Kajubi will also use a few minutes to introduce some of the family members. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The United States of America Ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency, Mr. William W. Pope, the Vice Chancellor of Makerere, Professor Barnabas Namuangwe, the Vice Chancellors of other universities present here, the Principal of Makerere University College of Education and External Studies, Professor Anthony Muwaga, our keynote speakers, and all Fulbright scholars present. Please allow me to introduce Mrs. Joyce Mpanga, you know. I think she's the oldest Fulbright scholar here. Dignitaries from the government of Uganda, dignitaries from the government of Mengo and other parts of Uganda, students, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol is observed. My name is Waswa Kajubi, and I'm here to say a few words about how profoundly honored the family and friends of the late William Kajubi are at attending this. Those are my sisters, and all of you, the rest of you are friends. We are extremely humbled by the vision and dedication and the excellent delivery of the lectures. Let us first begin by congratulating Makerere University for the successful celebration of the 100 years anniversary. It was very exciting and full of fond memories of outstanding individuals that have contributed to the development of Uganda. Now, in preparing this speech, I consulted a book written by Philip Thierberg titled How to Give a Damn Good Speech. He says, tell the audience what you're going to say it, and conclude by telling them what you've just said. So I'm going to see whether that works. In the few minutes that I'm allowed to give this speech, I'm going to celebrate the wonders of the Fulbright program, thank all the individuals and institutions that have made this annual memorial lecture successful, share some wisdom from Dr. Sunday Adelija, a successful transformation strategist, on how we can all benefit from today's lecture and increase our effectiveness in life. I will conclude by requesting all of you in the audience, including Your Excellency, the chairperson, the Vice Chancellor, and all dignitaries to participate in what we are going to call the Fulbright moment. As you realize, the limit and appreciative to the following individuals. Excellency, Ambassador William Pope, and through you, the government of the United States of America for sponsoring the Fulbright Memorial Lecture. We are witnesses, educational linkages, and linkages is transforming the world into a more interactive global village. I mentioned last year that Professor William Senteza Kajubi's father was awarded a certificate by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II for loyal service as a driver to the Public Works Department for a period of 40 years. But it was the Fulbright program that opened all the doors of opportunities that enabled him, his son, to also deliver valuable services to his country, the East African community, and the world. The Vice Chancellor of the university, and indeed she is not here, the chairperson of Makerere University, for organizing the celebration of the 100 years of Makerere University, and their continued support for the Professor William Senteza Kajubi Fulbright Annual Memorial Lecture. Professor Anthony Mugaga and his entire team at the Makerere University College of Education and External Study, including Professor Masazi for organizing the Professor William Senteza Fulbright Annual Memorial Lecture. And our keynote speakers on the topic Uganda's higher education in the digital age, navigating the future through technological advancement. Dr. Janice, I need help, Pararia Samani, the founder of the Fifth Wave STEM Educational Initiative, Dr. Alistair McLeod, professor at the Indiana State University. We are also very grateful and obliged to our panelists, members of the organizing committee. This lecture would not be possible if it was not for your ideas and coordinated efforts. The audience, we are very happy to see you. Thank you for coming. You have the most important role today. As you have heard, we have two brilliant speakers. Now, the idea situation is you're listening to their lectures and then go away incorporating the ideas that you got from these lectures and use them to enhance the quality of your life and contribute to the developing of this country and the world. According to Dr. Sande Adelija, a truly poor man in the world is a man without an idea. I think he included women too. Poorer than the man without an idea is a man who is not seeking an idea. The poorest man, according to him, however, is a man who has an idea but is not able to convert his inspiration, ideas, and energy into a useful product or service. Let us put this observation into perspective so that you can get an awakening to discover the magnitude of this loss incurred by not converting the ideas in your mind into useful products and services. Can you attempt to calculate the losses that you as an individual, can you attempt to calculate the losses that you as an individual, the losses to your country, or perhaps the losses to mankind? Charles Babbage. Mr. Charles Babbage was known as the father of the computer during the period 1812, 1819. I'm sure you weren't born yet. But Mr. Charles Babbage was not successful in converting his ideas into a useful computer. His failings caused the 200-year delays in delivering a useful computer. We are all guilty of not following up on converting ideas in our minds into useful products or services. The absence of this culture is very important because it will determine the level of progress you make as an individual in life, and it also governs the economic advancement and industrial development we experience as a nation. So how can we break this habit of not converting ideas in our minds into useful products and services? Let me share with you an experience. During the 1970s, 1980s, I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to attend college in Massachusetts, USA. At that time, the US Marines was running a very motivational recruitment drive. It was so effective. I still remember it today, 45 years later. Those of you who were old enough, we will remember it too. I have adopted this motivational drive as my personal affirmation to inspire me when I need to accomplish a goal or to break a bad habit. We can borrow this affirmation and use it to start to break habits, especially the one of not converting ideas in our minds into useful products or services. But I am informed that to break a habit, you need to, a strong habit, you need to be excited by doing something dramatic, something that you remember for the rest of your life. Now, I humbly and respectfully request all of you in the audience, including Your Excellency, the Vice Chancellor, all other important dignitaries in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, to please rise so that we can participate in the Fulbright moment. I am going to please request you to repeat this affirmation with me 3 times. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. A mind is a terrible thing. In the Fulbright moment, please be seated. In conclusion, I've just told you that there's nothing in the world that has been successful as a Fulbright scholarship program in positively transforming the lives of individuals, families, and countries. Your Excellency, we are very grateful to the government of the United States and encourage all Ugandans to continue pursuing opportunities in the Fulbright program. Once again, we express our sincere appreciation to you, the chairperson of the council, the vice chancellor, the principal of the School of Education, the organizing committee for making this lecture a success. Our keynote speakers, we are extremely honored by your gracing this occasion with your excellent lectures. Our most important audience, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Listen and live the lectures. Thank you.
Yes, Fulbright. The Fulbright program offers grants for non-US to go abroad to study, teach, research. That's what it's all about, in line with the brochure that we received. So when you hear I'm a Fulbright scholar, Fulbright program, please, you'll take off some time to read the information in the brochure, but it is about knowledge, the mind, and internationalization. I recognized all the universities present, but there is a special request that someone did not hear 2 universities, so I'm glad that they have joined us. We have the best university, that is Makerere University, hosting a Makerere. Then we have Chambogo University, Uganda Christian University, Bositema University, Victoria University, Metropolitan International University, Kumba University, Kampala International University, International University of East Africa, University of Eswatini. Hope I've said it correctly. Yes, thank you for honoring our invitation to the second public lecture in honor of Professor William Senteza Kajubi, a 2-time Vice Chancellor of University. Then I wish to make a correction. We have a typo in the magazine, and Professor Elia Blue, the Executive Director of the Uganda Vice Chancellor's Forum, has been kind enough. His eyes are still sharp, so on page 12, he was able to spot. On page 12, we have a typo, so I'm requesting that we correct it. Professor William Senteza Kajubi was born on, so the right date is 24th December 1926 in Chireku Village, Single District. So the date that we had stated, there is a typo. Kindly correct it. Courtesy of Professor Elia Blogucho. Thank you so much. And permit me to also recognize Owekitiibwa Kotilda Nakate, Minister ow'ebyenjigiriza ne office ya Maama Nnabagereka. Tusanyuse nnyo okulaba. We are very happy to see you. Thank you for joining this lecture. Permit me, now the best person to speak about Professor Senteza Kajubi, who was a 2-time Vice Chancellor, is our host. That is Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University. And after the Vice Chancellor's address, we will request him with a lot of pleasure to invite His Excellency the Ambassador to address us. Thank you very much. Let us welcome the Vice Chancellor. Now, I know that the audience comprises mostly students from the College of Education and External Studies, but the Vice Chancellor has an attachment in the College of Engineering, Design, Art and Technology, that is SEDAT. And we have other 8 colleges that I'll mention later. You're most welcome, VC.
First, just a correction, Rita. the Vice Chancellor is the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University and has no attachment to any college. Your Excellency, William Pope, Ambassador of the United States of America, members of Council, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Amina Zawede, who is represented by Dr. Kitogo, the Principal of the Uganda Institute for Communication Technology, Honorable Mulira and the other dignitaries that have been recognized, Professor Lugujo, who in a way is my boss because he's the Executive Secretary of the Uganda Vice Chancellor's Forum, members of the university management and staff of the university, Mr. Waswa Kajubi and members of the Senteza Kajubi family, and for those of you who never saw Professor Kajubi or never heard him, you have just been seeing him today. He's the exact replica of Professor Kajubi. Distinguished panelists, our keynote speakers, Dr. Janice Feira Samani and Dr. Alistre MacLeod, our gallant alumni, our visitors from the other universities, students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the Professor William Senteza Kajubi Fulbright Memorial Lecture 2023, because this is an annual event. And I must begin by thanking the United States Mission for fully funding this event. I also thank the College of Education, the principal and his team, for once again organizing this memorial lecture. I must also tell you that Professor Kajubi, I thought that when Rita, you were trying to talk about the best person, you would say Professor Kajubi was actually a very good friend of mine. I was a small boy in the university, little known, but when he was requested to go to Norway to discuss collaboration between Norwegian universities and Makerere, he chose me to accompany him and insisted that the people who are paying tickets also buy me a first-class ticket to be with him in the same. So that tells you a lot about who Professor Kajubi was. This year's theme, Uganda's higher education in the digital age, navigating the future through technological advancements, could not have been more timely, especially given the advancements in technology, such as artificial intelligence and others. I would therefore like to take the opportunity to warmly welcome you, Your Excellency, Ambassador Pope, and our panelists, Dr. Samani and Dr. MacLeod to Makerere University. Your presence here this afternoon is true demonstration of the U.S. government's commitment to nurturing change makers through fostering the exchange of knowledge and skills. And of course, you can see that Professor Kajubi, who was the very first African to be a Fulbright scholar, was already a demonstration of that commitment by the people of the United States. So one such change maker, as we may all know, is Professor William Kajubi, a gallant alumnus and two-time Vice Chancellor of Makerere University. His legacy was so impactful that despite our reputation as academicians to always debate issues, none has ever come up to debate the reference to him as the father of the education sector in Uganda. I think he deserves some applaud. I remember one time when Professor Kajubi was becoming Vice Chancellor for a second time, he had quite a bit of humor. And those days we were few at Makerere, few members of staff. So we used to hold the parties and the dances. And so we held the party and the dance for him in the main building. And His predecessor made a comment and said, you know, he apologized if he had offended anybody. Some of the people, it was out of jealousy. And Professor Senteza Kajubi, in his remarks, said, jealousy is a good thing. Okay? Jealousy is not necessarily a bad thing. And we all laughed. I don't know why you people have not laughed, but okay. It is therefore Kajubi secured his Fulbright scholarship. We are gathered here today to discuss Uganda's higher education through the lens of technological advancement. I would therefore wish to commend the U.S. Embassy on the choice of keynote speakers who could not be better selected in the names to unpack today's theme than two Fulbright alumni who are going to talk to us today. In addition to our keynote speakers, we will also have a discussion led by 3 alumni of Makerere University, Dr. Kitogo, Dr. Okello, and Dr. Muyinda. As Vice Chancellor, I'm greatly honored that you accepted the invitation to be with us here this afternoon, especially given the busy schedules that come with your offices. And of course, as has been mentioned, Ambassador Pope, you are just a few days in Uganda, and you have honored us with your presence. We don't take that lightly. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the role that technological advancements play in the furtherance of higher education cannot be overstated. This furtherance can be in the form of improved access for remote or working learners, improved tutoring, more precise assessment, evaluation, as well as creating more efficient ways to manage the learning environment. Some of the academic programs that are tenable by distance education have given us insights into the numerous possibilities that technological advancements accord to furthering higher education in Uganda. We are therefore keen to strengthen collaborations with institutions and development partners, particularly the institutions in the United States that have huge experience in distance education. During the COVID, we had our e-learning program here. The biggest challenge we had was how to handle students with disability, especially students who are visually impaired. That was a very big challenge. So we had to make special arrangements for them to actually come to campus. But then we found out that there were universities in the United States which had developed technologies for these students even to attend online classes. And we are already collaborating with one of those universities. Makerere University has since September last year been implementing a holistic undertaking aimed at improving our e-learning infrastructure, developing e-learning content, and equipping our academic, administrative, and technical staff with the requisite skills to support this project. We are optimistic that this undertaking will facilitate the enhancement of our teaching and learning core objective, and are grateful to the MasterCard Foundation, who are implementing a program through Arizona State University, who have been very generous in supporting our e-learning program. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we have undertaken quite a few policies to eliminate marginalization of certain communities. And the biggest marginalized community in Uganda as far as education was concerned were the women. So due to the policies that have been undertaken by the university over the last 30 years, we now have more female students on campus than the male students. So it's about 50-50, but the females are a little bit more. And I sometimes hear people arguing, but you see, the population of Uganda is 52% women. So why shouldn't they be 52% at Makerere? For us, we have achieved that. Okay. Makerere's relationship with the people of the United States goes a long way back. Institutions from the United States constitute the bulk of research funding at Makerere. Makerere is considered one of the most proficient, most research-intensive institutions in Africa. And when it comes to clinical medicine, we compete with the best in the world. And this is because of the support we have received from institutions in the United States. The National Institutes of Health, CDC, USAID, and others. So if we have one of the best schools of medicine in the world, it is because of the support of the people of the United States. Makerere now is called to find solutions to new development challenges for Uganda, Africa, and the world. We must address challenges of climate change, population explosion, and youth unemployment, emerging diseases, good governance, and others. And I'm happy to report that the various institutions from the United States are supporting us in looking for these solutions. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, with these very many remarks, although somebody has written here a few, I once again welcome you all to the Professor Senteza Kajubi Fulbright Memorial Lecture and wish you a wonderful afternoon of learning and networking as we build for the future. It is now my singular honor and privilege to invite you, Your Excellency, to come and address the congregation.
Vice Chancellor, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, all the university council members present, distinguished guests, Macquarie faculty, staff, and students, visitors and representatives from all the universities previously named, representatives of government present, Fulbrighters, past and present, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a tremendous honor for me, this being my first visit to Macquarie University, only weeks after arriving here in Uganda, to be with you all today. And I just earlier this afternoon had the distinct pleasure of sitting with the Vice Chancellor and discussing the university's distinguished history and its bright future. And it is clear, not only through our conversation, but through the introductory words today and all of you present, that you are really, truly among the leading academic institutions in Africa. And it is so gratifying to see where this university has come over the last 100 years and where it is heading in partnership with universities and institutions in the United States. We are honored to be partners, and we are very honored to have been able to be part of launching the first Kajubi Fulbright lecture last year as part of the 100-year celebrations, and to be celebrating the second iteration of this lecture today. This year, we are very excited to continue the tradition of bringing American and Ugandan experts together to discuss the future of higher education, to honor the first from Africa, Macquarie's Vice Chancellor, Professor Senteza Kajubi. It is wonderful also to see members of the family of Professor Kajubi with us today, and thank you for those introductory words. Partnership with U.S. academic research institutions have been working alongside with you in preparing the next generation of experts and a workforce ready to tackle the challenges of the future. The full list of collaborations between the U.S. institutions and McCrary University is really too long to recount here today, but I do want to mention a few examples of the cutting-edge research that we are supporting with your faculty and with all of you. First, the U.S. National Institutes of Health is currently funding dozens of research grants that have supported U.S.-Ugandan collaborative research for over 50 years. The U.S. government's primary development agency, USAID, has partnered with McCrary to establish dozens of PhD programs and research partnerships, as well as currently working on the construction of new auditorium and academic space in the School of Public Health. Through the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, known as PEPFAR, and our public health programs, the U.S. government has also invested over more than $30 million in McCrary University just in 2023 in public health, education, research, surveillance programs, particularly in fighting HIV/AIDS. And we have also very recently begun the support to establish a writing center for early career researchers in collaboration with Michigan State University. And I look forward to seeing that participation and that partnership increase with McCrary University in achieving greater research and publication capacity. So these are just a few of the examples of where we're working, and I know there are so many, many more that you and many others have been able to participate in over the years. Our investment, of course, though, in higher education is just one element of our long-established partnership between the United States and the Ugandan people. These partnerships are built on mutual respect, shared values, and collaborative endeavors. And through our myriad collaborative projects, we are proud to have real impact on academic research, scientific discovery, and accountability. All of this work has led to healthier, more secure, and more prosperous future for Uganda. This support to the Ugandan people started even before Uganda's independence. And I hope it will continue during my time as Ambassador to Uganda, where we can continue to build a healthy, vibrant society for every Ugandan. The U.S. invests more than nearly $1 billion annually to support the well-being of Ugandans by supporting prosperity, education, health, transparency, and rule of law. And through our development work, all of this collaboration and partnership, it is our hope that Uganda will move from a developing nation to one that is self-reliant. To do that, it is essential for institutions like McCrary to build the workforce ready for the 21st century and beyond. And of course, technology has become an essential part in that effort. From diplomacy to engineering and policy making to education, we all need a workforce that can effectively use information and use technology to gather and to learn from data and to productively leverage the vast amounts of information on the internet. Technological literacy is now the language that allows us as citizens of our nations to collaborate as we build a more prosperous future. And so today, as we open this conversation about Uganda's higher education in the digital age, it is my pleasure to welcome and celebrate two U.S. experts who will be joining us virtually from Silicon Valley in California and from the great state of Indiana. Before doing so, I want to thank the Vice Chancellor, all of the members of the McCrary University team, and everyone who contributed to making this event and this lecture series possible. I look forward to many more engagements with this great university in the future and to working together even more to build a brighter future for Uganda and the world. Thank you very much.
I'm very sure that His Excellency the Ambassador didn't hear us clap. Okay. Thank you so much. Once again, a round of applause to Makerere University. Oh yeah. U.S. Mission Uganda. College of Education and External Studies. And the 129 online participants. Yes, thank you so much. In line with our program, it's time for the public lecture. And our theme is Uganda's higher education. They have been following online from the start of this public lecture. In line with our program, the first keynote address will be delivered by Dr. Janice Samane. And let me read briefly. Dr. Janice is an artificial intelligence and digital transformation maven, a pioneering innovationist at the forefront of technology's evolution, with a background in artificial intelligence and a deep understanding of digital information. Dr. Janice is a professor emeritus of engineering from Carnegie Mellon University, Santa Clara University. As a distinguished global executive leader in technology, she has been a global keynote speaker for over 20 years. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are going to listen to someone who has been a global keynote speaker for over 20 years. Currently, CEO at FSC LLC, an award-winning digital transformation firm that integrates IT engineering and business focusing on smart cities, and founder of Fifth Wave STEM Education Initiative. Is she on? Yes. Let us listen to our keynote speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much for that very warm welcome. Recognizing the chairperson, the vice chancellor, His Excellency, Ambassador Pope, all of the mentioned protocols, the principal, as well as the university chancellors, all of the professors, the managing staff, all of the chancellors that are recognized from various universities, the U.S. Embassy and Department of State, all of my fellow Fulbrighters, as well as any other dignitaries that may have been mentioned in previous protocols. Thank you so much for this incredible opportunity to come before you. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty, members and curious minds of the Academy, I'd like to congratulate McLaren University for its 100 years of service, educating across the chasm, if you will, of learners, now embarking on what is known as this information age. Today, we are embarking on a virtual as well as in-person journey on this transcendental opportunity to actually provide this boundless realm of opportunity within the space of information era. As we gather in person as well as virtually, we are not merely attending at another presentation or symposium. We are participating in a transformational experience that will chart the course for our collective futures. The topic before us is not only a short revolution, it's a revolution by technology that is driven by technology and that knowledge and the relentless pursuit of progress. As we stand for you on the precipice of this era, defined by innovation and powered by digital management and transformation. It illuminates the possibilities of tomorrow. This era demands a dramatic shift. We're asking for a paramount shift in our understanding of education, entrepreneurship, and the very essence of human interaction. The navigating the path to this information era actually is prepared by this digital transformation and beyond. And not merely the title, but it's a call to action. It's an initiative and an invitation to you to act about mastering it. Begin to keys, as I have identified as being
Janice, do you hear me? Kindly unmute yourself.
Were you unable to hear me from the beginning?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just.
May I begin from the beginning?
No, not from the beginning.
Okay, well, I would like to acknowledge all of the previous protocols.
Just a minute.
I do apologize. I don't know why it was muted.
Kindly.
However, I'd like to recognize His Excellency and all of the prior names mentioned.
A minute.
Yes.
Kindly start from where you have the fifth wave.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So moving forward to think about how we're embarking upon this vision and this journey, one may transcend and convey the presence of the reality of these protocols, moving forward from a digital transformation into innovation. And this gives us an opportunity to actually navigate the path to the information era, provided for digital transformation and beyond. And not only is this merely a title that we've been given today, but it's an actual call to action, an invitation to explore this uncharted territory and the opportunity to redefine the role that we have on this landscape, to embark upon these changes that we can actually, it's not so much we want to embark, we want to embrace, but it's not a matter of mastering them. In the next few minutes, we will actually begin to talk about the challenges and opportunities that we have, and to move forward, utilizing these fifth wave key concepts to illuminate this transformation, this journey from the digital era into the information era. It's underscored by this current digital landscape, setting the course, navigating the digital transformation, embracing the opportunity and adopting the impact of education, entrepreneurship, and enabling the empowerment for the future. This is a brief talk with the aims of actually embracing the challenges and opportunities that actually develop the digital age and transcend the information to the information age, preparing for the future marked by innovation, technology, and continued growth. So as we continue to begin to think about moving from this digital space, if you will, we think about the digital access It is equipping the essential skills. We're bridging the digital divide. This digital literacy allows for us to develop our skills that are paramount for bridging the digital divide in Uganda and here as well as in the United States. The paramount interest and importance of this digital literacy, as well as the building skills and all. Education programs that are fostering digital literacy are key and foremost. Building and reskilling, if you will, building are setting and paving the way to an inclusive digital empowerment in Uganda. Paving the way for this comprehensive digital education is foremost initiatives aimed at digital literacy as well as providing access to education, equipping every Ugandan with the essential need for and also desire for digital education to align that with the education system and the demands of economic development, as well as skilling for the workforce in STEM and entrepreneurship. Educational programs fostering this accessibility and digital literacy actually allows for us to embrace technology. And these skills and these initiatives are enabling inclusion and empowerment. This comprehensive education program and opportunity allows for digital education programs to pave the way for a comprehensive digital empowerment in Uganda. The information age is when we begin to think about the opportunity of global revolution. And with that global revolution, we can explore our impact and what Uganda has, the impact that Uganda has and will have in the future. Exploring the information age allows for a pivotal role in Uganda to actually move forward worldwide in this digital transformation and revolution, leveraging the international advancement and aligning with McLaren University and all of its digital vision and technology with this global context of collaboration and leveraging international advancements and digital education. The unwavering opportunity allows for our global impact to be significant. Ugandans to actually pivot their role in a worldwide digital revolution to align with this digital vision of global context, as well as leveraging international advancement and forging global collaborations. So we think about the actual architecture and how that plays a key role in the innovation and looking at the foresight of moving from our digital age, if you will, or digital information into our actual information age is disciplinary or transdisciplinary, meaning that all of the 8 colleges that are represented at your fine university, along with the actual curriculum design in STEM education, should allow for an emphasis of learning. It allows for the engagement of the learners to actually explore their direction and their connection between science, technology, engineering, mathematics, as well as education. The approach fosters this innovation, this thinking, and this problem-solving opportunity by addressing the complexities of real-world challenges. And we can acknowledge here the United Nations SDGs. The approach of a project-based learning gives an opportunity for learners to actually focus on these real-world issues and problems, to engage these students on a hands-on collaboration projects that actually aim and are not merely just world, but they impact locally as well as globally. These opportunities allow for the students to apply STEM concepts in a particular way because they're concentrated, they're focused on this localized but yet global impact. Digital tools and resources actually allow for the leveraging of these opportunities and these resources that are essential in STEM education. This includes the access to online education, simulations, virtual labs, coding platforms, and digital analysis, as well as digital tool development, which actually enhances the learning and the possibilities of practical experience. The actual concept of this foresight in the digital challenges allows for the problem solving as well as critical thought in the STEM education, which actually provides the development of critical learning skills as well as problem solving opportunities and aptitudes. Students, learners of all ages, as well as those who have an interest in learning, should be engaged in analysis that actually looks at complex issues that generate innovation and new ideas, new solutions that can be adapted and adopted, that actually bring about a competency in our personal lives as well as in the marketplace. So as we begin to think about preparing students for the future, to foster entrepreneurship and innovation, this gives us an opportunity to remain competitive, to shorten the chasm, if you will, to fill in the gaps. And as so eloquently was stated earlier, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Opportunities are a terrible thing to waste. Products and services are a terrible thing to waste. So this gives us an opportunity to think about these global perspectives, preparing students for the future, regardless, and keeping in mind the global impact of these perceptions and thoughts around STEM education, that it actually is comprehensive. It touches all aspects of our lives. Many people have said, well, I'm not a technologist, but if you have a cell phone, you're actually a technologist. So continuing education and also adapting and adopting these technologies to be that architect, if you will, of innovation and foresight, recognized by learning and long life learning. And this long life journey of STEM education should actually instill our growth of mindset in students and encouraging them to adapt these new ideas and new technologies and paradigms throughout their careers. The architecture of the innovation and the foresight of STEM education allows for us to begin to prepare the students for rapid change and rapid growth and development by fostering this transcendental, if you will, interdisciplinary thinking, this critical problem solving skill and forward looking perspectives. It equips students for the tools and the mindsets needed for innovation. And it allows for us to take these complex challenges and to actually move them forward into the future. So as we begin to navigate our digital transformation, the role of education continues to play a pivotal core of what we are as a society. Training in this space allows for us to move forward by providing access and inclusion, opening up doors to education for learners of all ages and backgrounds and abilities, to actually ensure this knowledge and to provide this accessibility to everyone, to all. The innovation or the innovative learning actually fosters this spirit of belonging and connecting with others. It allows for our voices to be heard and for our thoughts to be out in and having a voice, if you will, and to put our thoughts into product and service. Global collaboration, as we are today, it is an amazing opportunity to actually facilitate these global collaborations of exchange, knowledge exchange, and idea exchange that actually break down geographic areas, if you will, and boundaries. The digital drive that one has, the insights that we have are actually providing education, valuable data-driven insights. And it's always information until there's a value connected. Then it becomes data. So allowing that data to be driven and allowing the students to actually perform these, and it allows them to be enabled and to perform their desires, their dreams, and their aspirations. So thinking about this long life learning, we can become digital citizens. We can actually cultivate our digital citizenry. We can consider the ethics and the morals behind what we do and what we develop. Our critical thinking allows for us to truly prepare and to bridge this digital divide, to actually ensure the ability of learners and all students of all ages as they access their digital learning resources. Digital transformation is in education as a core, is a dynamic journey. One may require the commitment, if you will, of continuing innovation, adaptability, as well as harnessing those technologies of today. So as we begin to think about how we can move from this digital era into the information era, I wanted to share just a few case studies with you. This is Fifth Wave. I'm the founder of Fifth Wave Education. This is an opportunity where we have in-person training as well as online. It was established in 2017. It provides access, again, building that bridge for the BIPOC community, people of color that do not generally have access, as well as global audiences, global learners. And it is technology for all. It is the level set, if you will. It is an opportunity where individuals may not have formal education, but yet they can develop some type of training where they can actually work in the marketplace. We've had 3 hackathons, global hackathons, and have had participants of 600 or more in each of the hackathons, and it follows the SDGs. Looking at our actual Georgia Tech is another case study I wanted to share with you, whereby they were established in 2013. And again, it allows for an opportunity to actually have a graduate degree from an online master program, not unlike the programs that you have at McLaren online. So this gives you yet another example of successful case studies that they are actually meeting thousands of students online in computer science. Moving forward to MIT, that's one of my alma maters also, is an opportunity where there are free online access courses that are virtually given. And it has inspired a number of students to continue to pursue their degrees in STEM. At Stanford, which is my other alum, also, I did my postdoc there, we have machine learning courses through Coursera, as well as other parts of the university, other departments, in the university, whereby you can take courses in machine learning, systems thinking, and the like. It allows for students to continue to grow their interest in STEM, as well as obtain graduate degrees and graduate formal training. So these are just 4 examples of very successful programs that allows for the information to be transferred in a very unique manner. So the guide to the digital journey is one that is an illuminated road. It is cultivated and fostered, as well as developing those foresights of what it could be, what those possibilities could be. So through this, it is required, and various segments of this opportunity of digital transformation is envisioning a clear path. In this segment, we can just think about exploring how you can actually build out your path toward this illumination, this cultivation, as well as having a plan and foresight into the evolution of what that would pertain. So as we navigate this actual digital journey, this segment underscores the need to truly cultivate and to understand the need for a robust vision, and to empower us to move forward in this very conservative, but yet very understanding way of being confident toward the goals, if you will, of fostering innovation and focusing on what those possibilities could be within that opportunity. So as we are empowering for the future, we can think about embarking upon various tasks that are demanding, yet they have immediate attention that we can give and concentrate on. To face this rapid change in technology advancements and the evolution of the information era, we are tasked with the preparation of meeting the needs of individuals and these communities, and moving forward into the future that hinges strictly and very much weighted on technology and digital literacy. Increasing the access to technology and digital skills is a cornerstone to the mission. It is not enough to provide access alone, but yet to ensure individuals that they have the skills and the capabilities to actually leverage technology effectively. It is not enough just to study, but to implement and to adapt it in such a way that it enhances their digital literacy and its profound lifelong learning to adapt for ever-changing digital landscape. This cross-sectional opportunity of collaboration for innovation and the key strategy is an endeavor. It actually is recognized as one of the most complex, if you will, challenges alone. By working across various sectors, remember it's the transdisciplinary, it is combining resources. It is actually working together collaboratively to actually create and to innovate, to create it in a holistic solution to actually benefit society as a whole. So the strategic plan needs to be in place for the future. And it is a roadmap. It has a destination. And it involves setting clear goals, harnessing the potential and the emerging technologies that are aligned, that actually afford and share that vision, that digital inclusion for the future. Embracing on this information age through education, literacy is a capstone for the journey. It is a call to action, inspiring us to empower each other and to acknowledge, fostering culture and curiosity, building on that curious learner and leaning on our foresight. By the integration of these elements, we lay down a key foundation for the future where technology serves. And it serves as a catalyst to actually provide us the opportunity to actually progress and to move forward along our journey of inclusion, visionary leadership, and inclusive development. Together, we embark on the path of empowering individuals and communities. We thrive on the information to move forward. And in closing, I would like to provide this opportunity to leave you with a few thoughts to encapsulate the essence of our journey together. The only way that we can discover our limits I believe the only way we can discover our limits is to think about how we can move forward with the possibilities, to actually move forward with the impossible. And as we actually navigate, we have that path. We have the information at our beck and call. We are not just actually charting, but we are along that path. We are continuing on our journey to dare to explore these uncharted territories of the digital age. We are standing on the threshold, if you will, of an endless possibility of actually embarking on change and diving in to the force of progress. Just remember, the future is not a destiny, but it is a journey. And we are embarking upon that every day. It is shaped by the challenges that we have ahead, but not only by our collective demand to adapt, innovate, and to lead. Our role is of the information age is not passive. It is one visionary leader taking on that opportunity and continuing their education to the boundless possibilities. So I would like to thank you and be encouraged, and to encourage you with your foresight and your insight, and to continue this discussion and to put it into action as we all move forward together into this information era. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share partly a journey with you on this transformational journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. And the central teaching. Yes.
My pleasure.
All right. God bless you. Yes, Professor Mark Cloud and the chair of Engineering at Indiana State University. He's also the vice president of the Indiana Surface Mount Technology Association, a professional organization concerned with the best practices during the population of printed circuit boards. As a Fulbright specialist, Dr. McLeod has worked on curriculum development in the domains of industrial automation and smart manufacturing. As an industrial technologist, his research interest surrounds the adoption of productivity improvement tools and techniques in small to medium-sized manufacturers. Let us welcome him. You're welcome. We are ready to listen to you. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, and are you seeing my slide? Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Ambassador Pope, Vice Chancellor Nangowe, thank you very much for allowing me to take part in this discussion. My interest really lie in the adoption of technology, the deployment of technology, and the dispersal of technology. In June of this year, everyone, I got the opportunity to visit Uganda. For 30 days, I worked on curriculum, I traveled to Uganda, and let me tell my other Fulbrighters and also my colleagues at Makerere University, I think some of the solutions that the world seeks to its major problems lie within the Ugandan people. And I would like to share that with you and share maybe how you can go along this path of digital transformation to find the opportunities for innovative solutions within your higher education system so that you can add value to your society. I'm coming at this from a socio-technical view, and the ultimate goal of my talk is that Makerere University needs to look at the problems Uganda faces and the Ugandan people face from a multidisciplinary perspective. So let me just start off by showing you a map of the world in 1459. This is what an expert drew, as a map of the world. This map depicted, one where if you went to the edges, you'd fall off. Now, 64 years later, the map of the on your digital transformation and on digital path, your path to adopting digital technology, I think you're going to have to embrace this idea that we don't know everything. And what we do know is that the technologies that we have at our disposal are really augmenters. They're augmenters of our physical labor or mental labor. And understanding them will help us move forward. So what I'd like to talk really about, as it pertains to Uganda really, is the East African arc. I'd like us to take a look to the east and look at the megacity Nairobi, and then take a look to the west and look at the house of Kigali in Rwanda, and ask yourselves, how is that house being built? And then I want you to determine your pathway forward. I'm going to give you basically a guide, a rough guide, and that guide is just simply asking questions, right? We don't know everything, and I think the solutions really lie within all of us, and we have to take that approach. So how can Uganda act as a central part or central component of this East African arc? And then how can Makerere University help add value to that arc? So I think one of the first things we need to do is we need to understand ourselves. And this is what digital technology allows us to do, right? We collect data, we analyze that data, and we learn even more about ourselves. But before we even go there, I think one of the first things we need to recognize is that Africa, in particular, has challenges that the rest of the world doesn't necessarily have. And one of those challenges is its geography. Its most dominant axis is north to south, and this has a profound impact on climate, habitat, rainfall, day length, disease of crops, disease of livestock, and finally, the spread of technology. So the spread of technology is really hampered by this north to south dominant axis. And the reason for that, what works in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere on the tips of those hemispheres may not work for the tropics, right? The technologies are different, the climate is different, and I think we need to understand that. So as we look at these technologies, one of the questions that we have to ask ourselves is, how can we adopt those technologies or adapt those technologies to our environment? And Makerere University plays a very big role in that. So what happens when we look east, and why should we look east? Well, as you all know, Uganda is a growing country, right? Its second largest city is 10 times smaller than its largest city, Kampala. And looking east, we can find cities that are closer in size to Kampala and see how they're doing in terms of meeting their growing challenges. So neighbors may have solutions before you do also, and so that's another reason why we need to look to the east. You can see the M-Pesa money transfer system arriving in Kenya in 2007, and then Airtel Money 2012 in Uganda, and then MTN Momo 2018. All right, so it took a while for this technology or this idea really to spread. And so we have to ask ourselves, how can we turbocharge or increase the speed at which some of these solutions can get to us? The big question really when we are looking east is, how is the process of urbanization taking place? And so one of the things that we have to do is we have to look at what's happening here in Uganda. So latitude 0, I had the opportunity to visit the equator, and that was quite an interesting time. I visited it at nighttime, and my tour guide really they were trying to show me different things that should be taking place on different sides of the hemisphere, but I don't think it worked. The the spinning of water being different on one hemisphere from the other. But the interest, my real interest in Uganda really surrounds its population. And that really is a big guide as to how Uganda's technology usage moves forward. Uganda is approximately 84% of Ugandans live in rural areas, whereas here in the US and probably even the rest of the world, much more people live in cities, right? So conversely, in the US, 20% live in world is about 55%. Uganda's largest resource is one person every 24 seconds. So you have a birth of really one person every 18 seconds. You have immigration, you have emigration. When you total everything up, and you have deaths also. When you total everything up, there's one person every 24 seconds in Uganda. And so this is something that as a university, Makerere University needs to be mindful of and think of how can we utilize this resource? How can we develop this resource? When we look at Kampala, here are some of the statistics for Kampala. We just under 200,000 people living in its densest city or its densest district. And its densest district really has about anywhere between 16,000 to 20,000 people per square kilometer, right? And so we just need to be mindful of how is this city being built. And one important thing as we look at the city from a social perspective, right? The amount of people in the city, we have to now think about what sort of energy usage will the city demand. Cities on the whole demand a lot of energy. And how is Kampala going to meet this increased demand if the rest of the world is heading towards urbanization, but Uganda is probably, when you look at the map here of Uganda, what you can also see, Uganda and its neighboring country, Kenya, you can see a lot of people living in the rural area. So that the blue that you see in between the white there represent people living in this environment, and that also has a profound impact on the climate or in the environment in Uganda. We look further east to Kisumu, Kenya. You can actually see a city that now has more people per square mile than even Kampala. What we'd like to know, or what I think Ugandans should all try to understand is happening with these cities, is how are these cities dealing with their population booms? So in Kisumu's densest district, they are between 20,000 to 30,000 people living in this square kilometer. How are they doing this? And what sort of energy usage are these cities using? When we look at Nakuru, Kenya, we see an increase here in this densest district. There are now 30,000 to 50,000 people per square kilometer. What is the energy usage of a city like this, and how is the city being planned? How is the city being built with that many people? And the big one of them all is Nairobi. In Nairobi, in its densest district, there is anywhere between 100,000 to 200,000 people in a square kilometer. So for cities to exist with this many people in a square kilometer, my opinion is that there must be a lot of high-rise structures. And with high-rise structures, there is a lot of energy that needs to be maintained in order for these structures to be functional for people. So I think as Makerere University goes about doing its research and finding solutions, one of the things that it needs to do is just look around, look to the east, in particular, to understand how are these cities to your east developing, how are they moving forward. And I think the answers you'll find there will help the world. When we look west, why look west? Well, Rwanda has been making inroads in the ICT field, and we have to ask ourselves the question, how are they able to do this? And what I've identified are just 4 basic factors. Whether or not they're significant or not, I think this is something Makerere University needs to do more research on. So I'm just building a hypothesis here, and hopefully your researchers and the Fulbrighters there can take this information and move forward with it. So how significant are the factors of ease of starting a business, getting electricity, obtaining credit, and economic diversity? As you can see, I'm a technologist, but I am pulling from fields as diverse as geography, sociology, and economics. I am trying to lay the foundation or lay the groundwork from which you need to go forward and ask these questions. So Rwanda takes 5 steps for business to be launched, and these 5 steps occur over a 4-day period. It costs nothing for you to launch this business if you're a small to medium-sized enterprise. In Uganda, the opposite is true. It takes 13 steps, it takes 25 days, and about 457,000 shillings. That's about 121 US dollars. This has a profound impact on ideas coming to the fore. So I think one of the things that we need to understand is that ideas don't necessarily have to come or originate from a university. They can also come from industry and from business, small business in particular. And I think to help this ecosystem develop, Makerere University really needs to ask the question, how highlight these needs and make doing business in Uganda a better opportunity for its people. Getting electricity. Here is another thing that we need to be mindful of. In Rwanda, it takes 4 steps, and it takes over 30 days. It costs about US 15,000. In Uganda, it's 6 steps, 73 days, and 157 million shillings. That is very high. And the reason why electricity is important, energy is important, is if you want to transformation journey, one of the main and or important things is energy, in particular electric energy. Not having constant electricity or cheap electricity can hamper your digital transformation. The House of Kigali, right, Rwanda, the cost of electricity is 13.7 cents per kilowatt hour, compared to Uganda, which is 16.9 cents per kilowatt hour, or Kenya, which is about 21 cents per kilowatt hour. So we have to understand why these countries ranked higher. Kenya is an outlier in that its cost of electricity is much higher than that of Uganda. But I'm sure that Uganda probably provides Kenya with electric power. Why can't that be offered to Uganda and its people? I think that's a question that needs answer. And research at Makerere University needs to provide those answers. Getting credit. So this is an economic and a social, I guess, factor, right? So in Rwanda, about 10.4% of adults are in some sort of a registry in order for credit to be issued. 15.8% of all adults are covered by a credit bureau. Again, this is digitization. This is digital transactions, digital financial transactions that just need to be verified. And a simple database, I think, would be wonderful. In Uganda, that's not the case. 0% of adults are in any registry, and only 6.9% of adults are covered by a credit bureau. But we need answers as to why there's such a big difference between Rwanda and Uganda, or even Rwanda, or even Uganda and Kenya. As you can see, ease of access in Kenya in getting credit it's much easier to get credit in Kenya than here in Rwanda, or in Uganda, sorry. The other factor is the commodity export. So the commodity trap, in other words. 83% of all African countries are highly dependent on commodities. And commodities overall, they go up and down with the international market rate for whatever commodity it is. Surprisingly, Uganda is probably one of Africa's best model on how to get off this commodity trap. In 1998, Uganda's exports were 95% of Uganda's exports were all in commodities, agricultural product commodities. I think in particular coffee. And over a 10-year period, it decreased that dependence on this commodity to about 70%. Right now, in 2020, it's about 85%. So it's ticking back up. But diversification is important, and Makerere University needs to lead the charge here. It needs to find the answers as to why Uganda is not diversifying its economy. Why? Because diversification allows for absorbment of economic shocks, the increased availability of inputs and services. It creates spillover technology and skill and allows for the building of production networks. Digital transformations don't occur by themselves without research to guide them. And having a problem to focus that research is one that Makerere University needs to identify and move forward on. So a pathway forward and Makerere's role in fostering the adoption of innovative technologies that are applicable to East Africa. So Makerere University's role is the supply of knowledge and human capital. And this supply of knowledge and human capital will affect everyone. It will affect competition. It will affect the access to finance, so the economics of the system. It will affect access to cheap energy. It will affect the business intelligence and the management of those businesses. So I think McCary University really needs to think about how can it interact with these different players in Uganda. So one way you can do that is by enabling spaces that your students can come and innovate. They need to innovate, and I think the answers that they have surround low-cost energy technologies, modular technologies, sustainable technologies, and intuitive technologies. When I say monetization of technologies, what I really mean is value-added technologies. These technologies that your students work on in this space need to add value to Uganda as a whole. You can see some of these solutions occurring in society, in Ugandan society, and this is one my biggest I guess hopes is that Uganda can continue to innovate. If you guys have noticed, you have probably solved or beginning to solve this transportation problem. Transportation in landlocked countries is typically 7 times more expensive than transportation for countries that have a coast. And that's simply because you have to move stuff over land. You can see that in Uganda, you have your boda, and I really like these guys. I'd really like to know to interview really the first boda guy. How did he come up with this idea to move people and to move goods, you know, from one village to the next? How did he come up with the idea? But I think also, if you can't interview the guy, well, you probably can help the boda guys improve their safety. You can help with the optimized traffic flow. So the layout, like Kampala, can be optimized for the free movement of these transportation vehicles. More likely to be ill from tropical infectious diseases. This is a problem that Uganda faces daily. And what I found when I was there is that your public healthcare system is much more hyper-vigilant than say, even my healthcare system. But technology could help, McCary, from the development of electronic healthcare registries, the need for more intuitive data entry systems for doctors in rural areas to be used, and then widespread access to electronic medical records. And I think McCary University can play a part in this. The other thing that McCary University can help with is how is Uganda going to feed its booming population? Well, we just have to ask the masters of subsistence farming, the Ugandan people. And many of you who live in Uganda and probably not quite in Kampala probably can attest to your farm in the backyard, right? How can technology make your farming much more productive? This way of meeting your food requirements is I think rather unique compared to the rest of the world that wants to go into this mass production of food. It's a solution that your people have found, and enhancing the solution, I think, could be a model for the rest of the world to follow. So, what sort of a digital revolution should Uganda prepare itself for? I think again, we just need to be mindful that really technology is just an augment of labor, and it can help you whether it's physical or mental, and it won't necessarily take away your job as much as if it will shift what you do, right? Routine task that you currently face in your work environment, and that frees you up to think about other problems to tackle. So I think that's how you should look at your digital revolution as you move forward as a university. So my best guess, really, as it relates to this revolution, is that you won't follow the traditional path from agricultural revolution to industrial revolution to service revolution. I think Uganda's path forward is going to look more like an agricultural revolution flow it into a service revolution, which in turn will drive uh, its industrial revolution. I really do think that the solutions to some of the world's major problems are here in the East African community. And Makerere University really plays an important part in harnessing or finding these solutions. So I close by just letting you know, in a society that has moved beyond industrialization, primary resource is knowledge, really, and data is the currency of the realm. The most data, the greatest volume, the more accurate, and the timelier yields the most power. Good luck on your digital transformation, Uganda and Makerere University. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, our keynote speaker, Dr. MacLeod. I'm honored because I kept on hearing you mention research at Makerere needs to provide those answers. And we are glad that the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, has been listening. Professors at Makerere, associate professors are in the audience, senior lecturers, the chairperson of Makerere Research and Innovations Fund. So thank you so much for speaking to us. Even the academic registrar of Makerere University has had Professor Mukadasi Buyinza. There was that key highlight every time our keynote speaker kept on saying research at Makerere needs to provide those answers. Let us give him a befitting applause. Thank you so much. Yes, and God bless you. It's time to have, because we've been seated, just within 3 minutes, the School of Performing Arts and Film, in 3 minutes, is going to rock you so that you feel you're part of Fulbright, part of USA, part of Uganda, part of Makerere University. 3 minutes, School of Performing Arts and Film. Energetic enough to join the performance just for 3 minutes. And after those 3 minutes, in the interest of time, Dr. Depea, because it's time for
me like a river Jordan, and I will then say to thee, you are my friend. Carry me, mother, love me like a mother, will you be there? Oh, oh no, yeah, oh no, no. Weary, tell me, will you hold me? When wrong, will you scold me? When lost, will you find me? But they told me a man should be fair. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. I'm only human. Whoa. Ooh. Yeah. Hold me now. Hold me. Just hold me now. Just hold me. I'm only human. Just feel me. Just hear me now. Feel me, feel me. Just hold me now. I'm only human. Just hold me. Just hold me now. Just feel me. I'm only human. Just need me. Just be me. Just feel me. I'm only human. In turbulence, in my anger and anguish, in my pain, in my sorrow, and in my joy, will you still be there? For you are always in my heart. Thank you so much.
Yes, Makere Community Choir, thank you for that beautiful piece that really attracted Professor Andrew. Yes, and he joined the team. That was so lovely. Permit me to invite Dr. David Kabugo to take us through the next session, that is the panel discussion. Dr. David Kabugo, you're welcome.
I hope I can be heard now. Perfect. Thank you so much, Rita. And I think ours is going to be really a very short one, especially after being energized, but also being to the close of the session. We're going to really spend a very few minutes on this panel. Following from His Excellence, the keynote, Mr. Kajubi, what is coming out clearly is the call for higher education to respond to leverage technology, to respond to the most pressing of our societal needs. That is very clear. And Mr. Kajubi was really spot on right from the beginning. The cost of inaction is huge. But look, how soon can we uptake technologies? How long can we delay? In this panel discussion, we shall have Dr. Moyinda Paul Bilevo. Could you kindly join me? As he comes, Dr. Paul Moyinda Bilevo is an associate professor of open distance and e-learning. He was selected and he's fit for this purpose. Very knowledgeable in the areas of open distance and e-learning. He is also our director of the Institute of Open Distance and E-Learning at Makerere University. He is a lead, a guru in digital learning. He has worked with several agencies, including, by the way, most recently, guiding government on our national digital agenda. He's the right person to have on the panel. Welcome, Professor Moyinda Bilevo. We shall also have Dr. Frederick Edward Chitogo. Dr. Frederick Edward Chitogo, as you come by, Doc, is the principal of the Uganda Institute of Information and Communication Technologies. A perfect combination to discuss with Professor Bilevo. ICT governance professional. The word is ICT governance. And he has over 20 years experience in guiding government on ICT integration across government services. He is an ICT policy specialist. He has executed hundreds of government ICT-led projects, and before joining the Uganda Institute of Communication Technology, he worked with the Institute or NITA-U as the director of research and engineer, Dr. Dorothy Okello. Female voices up. Until she comes, applaud. Yes, please. Yes. Engineer Dr. Dorothy Okello is the Dean, School of Engineering, Makerere, School of Engineering, Makerere University. She's a senior researcher, NetLab Uganda. She's the Director of Innovations at Resilience Africa Network. And she's the founder of Women of Uganda Network, a network that promotes and supports the use of ICT by women in Uganda. Welcome, Dr. Dorothy. We have very few really few minutes, and we are speaking to the theme, Uganda's higher education in the digital age. So far, we have been talking about technology innovations, technology advancements, and we have been talking about AI, at least AI has been the word. But we have so many technology advancements happening. Some are envisioned, including extended reality, including the digital humans, the AI agents, the quantum machine learning, the data fabric, the decentralized identity systems. Lately, we are talking about the chatbots. We are talking about the autonomous vehicles and predictive analytics and event stream and outdoor location intelligence. All these technologies, this team is going to engage with their implications for addressing the societal needs. I will start with Professor Birevu Muyendapo. Again, linking your talk to either Alistair's or Janice's keynote, would you, Prof, take us through your envisioning of the future of higher education in the face of digital or emerging technologies? Prof. Minda.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. To go right to the question, or to the question you've asked, how do I envision the future of education in this digital era? We have been, all the keynote speakers actually been able to point us to where we are going and where we should be going. The keynote speaker, Alistair, informed us that there are a number of problems. There are a number of problems that our society is facing, and the solutions are right here with us as higher education. And that higher education has to do a lot of research to be able to solve these problems. And that we should not look in the north for the solutions. That the solutions are within us. Some solutions we should look in the left, other solutions we should look in the right, but others we should look in the center, I mean in the middle, in Uganda. For example, one important problem, or two important problems that we are facing in this country. He pointed out the problem of traffic congestion in the country, in Uganda. And all of us actually know that this is a very big problem in Uganda. He also pointed out some solutions to this. And he also pointed out problems to do with health and so on. And he said that higher education is the one going to actually find solutions to these local problems. So higher education will have to come up to contextualize the issues that we have and find solutions for them. For example, if I can give you an example, in our Institute of Open Distance and E-Learning, because you introduced me as the director of the Institute of Open Distance and E-Learning, our mandate is actually to look at innovations in teaching and learning and be able to cascade these to the rest of the university, but also be able to look at innovative solutions that can be actually attained through use of technology to solve societal challenges. We have, for example, indeed, Alistair talked about the border challenge. In my institute, we actually long looked at this solution, this problem, and through the Research and Innovation Fund of Makerere University, we came up with a project to enhance the behavioral change of border riders using mobile learning. And these are solutions that the keynote speaker was talking about. How can we get these solutions? This kind of solution cannot be funded by our development partners when you look in the, but it can only be funded by us here in the center. So these are some of the solutions that technology can be able to solve and we can be able to harness. We have a number of solutions at Makerere University. Last time under the No Head project, there is somebody who was carrying out research on how to preserve the local bees for pollination of our crops. And these are solutions. And indeed, I concur with the keynote speaker's contention that it is us as Makerere University that, as higher education, that will have to find solutions to our local problems. Without that, we will be doomed. And technology solutions are here to be able to solve a number of these problems. And so digital solutions will have to be researched upon. We have to research in digital solutions and be able to come up with solutions. So higher education's role is going to be very, very critical in solving our day-to-day challenges in our country.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. You are a training institution, and lately you have been so much into AI. I'm wondering what you are doing as an institute to leverage AI to solve specific challenges that we're talking about. But my worry is it not so early to take on AI?
Thank you very much. It's not early at all. Actually, we are behind. Indeed, last semester, many of us professors realized that there was an improvement in the performance of our students, especially in assignments. And many of us as professors, we didn't know why. Probably we thought that our students had become super bright. But our students are running faster than we do. That one we have to know. As faculty members, our students are running faster. And therefore, we cannot say that it is too early. Because our clients that we deal with are already ahead of us. So we must increase the speed. As faculty, as a university, we must increase the speed and be ahead. Otherwise, the people we are supposed to be educating are actually ahead of us. So, as a university, Makerere, we are taking some steps to ensure that we get ahead of our clients. We have started by undertaking research as an institute, and then popularizing that research, cascading that research to the faculty members. We are trying to see the impact of, for example, chatbots in our education system, especially us in education. The teacher we are producing now, how is this teacher going to be functioning amidst the prevalence of these generative artificial intelligences? Is the teacher going to be relevant? As we said before, the teacher cannot be phased out. But we want a teacher that is actually responsive to the emerging technologies. And so we, as a College of Education and External Studies, have to find ways, we have to research and find ways of integrating artificial intelligence, ethically integrating artificial intelligence within our teaching, learning, and assessment processes. And also look at our practices and see whether our practices are amenable to the emerging technologies. If they are not, then we have to find a way of actually making them amenable. So the teacher educators in our college and elsewhere have to come up to find solutions on how we can be able to integrate emerging technologies with our practices, and also be able to remain relevant within the profession. So as an institute, we are doing research. We held a seminar, a webinar, where we had over 500 participants within Uganda and even outside to popularize, to sensitize the community about this artificial intelligence in education. We are having various seminars in different schools, in different colleges, to be able to actually sensitize our staff and our students, and as we carry out research, to be able to find the best way of actually integrating AI in teaching, research, and assessment.
Thank you for that submission, Prof. Dr. Chitogo, from a policy perspective, you know, you're coming in from the Ministry of ICT, and so here I am seeing government. Lately, there are bans, there are prohibitions on especially technologies, and government, you know, putting. What is government doing to propel, foster uptake of technology, especially by the youth?
For that, using the carrot and to try to regulate the utilization of technologies, but also support their utilization to ensure that they are not abused. Because we'll find situations where they are misused. So it has come up with
very challenging, at least active. But what are the policy clear cooking so that we ourselves as a higher education, that ministry is about technology in higher education?
Yeah. Thank you very much. There are policies, but also strategies. We have a national ICT policy, which will be revised into cabinet. Some guidance on that, so it's upcoming, and you're going to be, the different stakeholders are going to be consulted on the improvement of that policy. It will be an overarching, and having all small policies that were in place to be under one document which guides the utilization of those technologies. But not only policies, but we also have laws and regulations above the policies to ensure that you know, it's a regulated environment. But beyond those policies, we also have other initiatives that are ongoing to show that government is actually not crippling the utilization of technologies, especially emerging technologies. Government has embarked on development National ICT Innovation Hub at Uganda Institute of ICT, but also some other hubs like in Mbara University, Gulu, and Bustema. So we are supporting the development of those hubs to ensure that, and providing funding to those institutions to ensure that the users of those hubs, not only the students, and use them to develop innovative solutions that solve societal but also government problems. That's not the only thing that is being done. We're also going to come up with a curriculum to enable the teaching of fourth industrial revolution technologies, other technology, emerging ones. And we are working with partners like Coursera, which was talked about by, and also web services. We also have IT Global Training. We have the JICA project. They are assisting us with JICA universities. We're also working with the Belgian universities and other stakeholders, Johannesburg Center for Software Engineering, and several others. So we have those partnerships to assist us to develop curriculum, which is going to be rolled out, and we're working in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Sports, but also, like talked about, professor who sits on the committee to develop that digital agenda policy. I'm also representing the ministry on that same committee, so the ministry is also supporting the Ministry of Education. So those are broad areas that we are looking at. But also we are working with the Ministry of Education because we realize that TVET is one of the upcoming areas. So we are looking at supporting the TVET training and curriculum to be able to utilize emerging technologies to improve the plumbers, electricians, and all those others, if they are to improve their work and become more efficient and productive. then the utilization of technologies is very paramount. So we are working with the Ministry of Education, specifically the TVET department, to we to those free training like the teachers to utilize technologies to improve the teaching, administration, and also planning for education institutions. So we are offering those programs, and we're happy that the Education Union partnered with is supporting us to ensure that we have those programs for the teachers, amongst others. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful input. Prof. Dawsi, we're here in COVID. You see this wave of tech, at least at Makerere University, was much more realized during COVID. I am from humanities, but I know that engineering is a practical subject, hands-on. Those dissenting voices. How do you teach engineering students on management system? What's the state of tech uptake in engineering, Dorothy?
Thank you very much. I'll bring this closer so I don't feel like I'm stretching to my side. And you did say engineers, we are practical, so I'll start with that. Allow me first to put my own question before I answer yours. And that is just simply to recognize the Fulbright experience as a Fulbright awardee. It was my first time out of the country, first time really leaving home. And, it was a really, really great experience, and I credit it with everything else that I have been able to do since then because of the opportunities that we had a very good program that took care not only of the studies, but our cultural experience. And I think by the time I left, I had traveled to 13 different states within the US, all on a student budget. So I really have to thank Senator Fulbright and also the US taxpayers for taking care of us. But it was a really great experience and exposure. Now to come to the question that you asked, how do we teach engineering online? And I think the first issue would be, especially during the time of COVID, what was our opportunities for access like? We had the policies in place and all, but suddenly we all realized that internet was no longer that thing which was, if you had it, you had it. If you didn't have it, because you needed to get work done. And it also reminds me of my first experience in the US. We get there, I was going for my master's, and they tell us that the homework will be shared via email. By the time I left, the internet wasn't really anything much to talk about here. And, but I didn't have the luxury of saying, you see, I don't have email, I don't have what. The lecturer just simply said, check your email for the homework. And we had to get going with that. So I think fast forward to COVID, that is exactly the state we found ourselves in. That the university had to continue running, students had to learn in one way or another, and some essence of life had to continue in that extent. So one was having access to the internet, and there were all the initiatives around the collaboration with the telecom players, so that wherever you were, so long as you were accessing the Makerere platform, it was zero rated, meaning that you could access it for free. Because in fact, in a lot of Africa today, the problem is not access to the internet. Although it is true there are certain places where you may be challenged with the quality of the signal, but actually it is the affordability of people to go online. So if you look at the map of Uganda, in terms of where signal is, maybe we have a gap remaining of about 15 to 20%. But if you look at what is now called the usage gap, people are there, the signal is there, but are they actually using it? That is the bigger problem that we had, and that's the problem which we had to face as the country. And this is why the opportunity to have zero-rated access was a big opportunity in allowing our students, wherever they were, to be able to have access. So then the thing was, how do we teach? I must admit that prior to COVID, we had a lot of training from the IODEL team, using Moodle, Blackboard, all these things. But because it wasn't something which we had to do, I mean, for the lecturers, and I have to admit myself, I really loved the flexibility of being able to do online, but it was kind of optional, yeah? But now here it is, we were in a situation where we had to teach online, so even for some of the students, getting their access to our Mwele platform, you know, there was a whole experience around that, but it had to happen. Now, how do we actually teach online? And I want to give credit, and I think it was shared also by the Dr. Janice when she talked about platforms like MIT, when she talked about Coursera, when she talked Stanford program on Coursera, and the examples she gave were engineering programs. So the experience that you have when you're training online is you can't teach like the way you are teaching in the physical presence, but you can still have practical things happening. How would you do that? So online you can do simulations, you can run your computer programs and everything. There is no problem with that, right? But if you're going to have a practice, and actually I challenged my students because they're like, oh, we are having internet access challenges. I'm like, yeah, you are telecom students. So you are living the problem. So how in your community, what do we need to do to have better internet access within your community? Because by solving the simple problem you need to get online, we're actually going to be solving a bigger problem. Secondly, if you're doing, for example, mechanical engineering, all right? So you're coming maybe, and you know, we are big on agriculture. So you want to come up with some devices to simplify productivity or to enhance productivity within the community. Actually, you have the local workshops within that community, so you can get stuff done within that community. You can go online to get better information, better techniques, information about different things. So that part, you know, so that is how you would blend being able to do something practical while having something online. And last, what I want to talk about is on the issue of AI. For me, actually, I tell my students they can use ChatGPT because I use it as well. Right? The only thing is they must acknowledge that they've used it. And if you have used ChatGPT, this is why I tell them to use it. You will quickly realize that it's going to give you generic answers. So you must know what you are doing to use it, but it will help you. I look at it as a low-cost research assistant. It helps you get along. And so that's why I don't mind the students using it. But if you just submit in something using ChatGPT, first of all, it will be clear that that's what you've done, and that is a plagiarism, so that is an automatic 0 as the lightest sentence, all the way ranging to suspension, because that is cheating. Yeah, so we are very clear on how we do it. And secondly, when you think about AI, AI is built on the information that is built within the systems. So if we, as Ugandans, as Africans, are not participating in AI systems, then we are actually getting solutions that are based on data of other people. Okay? So we need to be very active in it. We need to be generating data, and anyone who's trying to do research, you know how difficult it is to get information on even the simplest of things. But we need to be generating tons and tons of data, because that's what makes AI more and more proficient. So we are actually led to participate in this. We should actually encourage as much use of AI, because it means that it will help us collect data. We should encourage opportunities for low-cost access to the internet, so that sharing and all that is easier. I think Dr. Lister shared it very well. He said over 80% are in the rural areas, but then that's good also. It is an opportunity to solve so many problems with people who are right there in the community, if we can get access to the relevant data, that we can then build models using AI to quicken the process so that we can find solutions. Thank you.
I could see that the applaud is mostly from the students. I want to invite one student as we close. Share with us your thoughts about usage of emerging technologies in your learning, especially AI. Are we, of course, as Dr. Dorothy was submitting, like you're giving students access to liberty to use whichever AIs or chatbots, and then there are also those voices. How students, the lady in the middle.
Got a microphone here?
Thank you. My name is Namtewi Doreen, Bachelor of Science with Education, Biological. So the question has been our experience with using artificial intelligence. First of all, it is reliable. That is the fact. Artificial intelligence is reliable because you're just fixing what you need, and then data is given to you there, and then it gives us, it gives us what we need, and data is provided there and then. But you know, these things of information from the internet, the work that it has given you, it's your neighbor will also have read.
Our academic returned, looked at you. Thank you for your submission, but maybe a short, a snapshot, Prof. Buyinza, into the question. Are we not holding or hanging for too long before we allow all the students to use AIs?
So put it. This is an it is available to use, both faculty and the students. There is no secret about it. In open science, under the drive of open science, it's fine. Let it be available. We just needed to develop protocol and guidelines on how the students can use it. And most importantly, it's also a sign of academic honesty that you declare where have you gotten the material from, such that we can then triangulate and see the level of originality and what has been your input and value addition to the material that you got from the digital world. I think we shall open up when we develop the guidelines.
Thank you so much, Prof. Oftentimes we ask for your parting shots, but we are tied. The time is up. But maybe in 30 seconds, Prof. Muyinda, your parting shots, your thoughts about the future of education with technology advancements. Parting shot, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think the future of education is going to be digital. We are not going to have the differentiation that we've been having between the conventional in-classroom-based studies and the distance education studies, because all of us, all students, all faculty members are going to embrace technology. Because, as I say, the terrain of technology advancement 5 years ago and now is quite different. And this is continuing to improve. 5 years from now, everyone will have embraced technology, including the in-person classroom students. And so that the difference between this and the intern is not going to be there.
Increase in the future. Doc.
Thank you. I will talk. Government is planning to do government, to improve the teaching of STEM subjects, has entered into partnership with a US company called Eon to develop extended reality to the teaching of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and innovation subjects. And we got a grant of $25 million to develop a center of excellence for that, which will be used by different institutions from higher education institutions and others to use that facility both physically and electronically to be able to teach those subjects so that abstract concepts can be easily taught, and simulations can be done, and several other things. So please watch out for that. It's coming, and Makerere should be able to use it as well. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Access to higher education is going to be more affordable, especially STEM. And Prof. Dorothy, there's something that we are quickly observing about, I envision that as we prepare this youth for the future of work, and with technology, you see the youth come in for specific micro-credential. They come, learn a specific thing, and go. Your parting shot on micro-credentialing in higher education.
Thank you for that. I think this is a great opportunity actually provided by technology and augmented reality, and even thinking of avatars and all kind of imagination, because the common saying is that the youth are creative and they have all these great ideas. Other people would say /wild. I also want to think that adults, we are also the same. And the AI and the virtual reality allows us to experience all that. But I think what it means then in terms of the transformation we need is that, number one, in terms of skilling, people can get specific skills that they need at a certain time, because the opportunities for us to do a lot is tremendous, but you cannot know everything. And digitization also allows for a lot of collaboration, and one of the Keynote said it. So if we are specialized in different areas through micro-credentials, you can harness a team to come together and solve a problem. One of the models I like in a university we benchmarked in Ghana, when they go out to do industrial training. Right now when we do industrial training, the engineers go by themselves, the medics and all that. They send out a team to go to a certain village that has a psychologist, a medical person, an agriculturalist and everything, so that actually in that community when you're solving a problem, you're at multiple perspectives. Now digitization would allow for that easily. Virtual reality allow for you to do simulation, okay, so that you can have a sense of what it is that you might have out for when you're in the. And I think that it will also make teaching and learning more engaging, more exciting, because it is no longer the traditional, I'm the teacher, I'm here, I learn from me. No, we're all bringing our diversity into the mix and coming up with innovative solutions towards our national development.
Dr. Okay. Sure. And Alistair still online. Alistair, if you can speak, yes, if you can speak to us in up to 10 seconds about your thinking about the panel discussion aligning with your thoughts. Briefly, your parting shots on this.
Wow. So I think what Uganda really needs to do is take a look at its people and try to maybe understand what doing a bit more. So for example, I gave you guys the example of the Boda Boda, right? It's solving the last mile problem. This is a problem that we here in the US we don't have a solution to. moving stuff from a warehouse to home, or the postman bringing mail from the post office to my home, for example. I think the butter riders have solved that problem in that they're using a technology that's very low energy intensive. There is the potential to make money or add value to the economy. And I think when you look at solutions like that, I think adapting, the circumstance and the way people go about life in Uganda to digital technologies, I think that's the best route. So if you're going to present something online, or if your students are going to use AI, for example, I think they need to understand the limitations of those technologies. Understand that technologies like AI, for example, are heavily biased because of how they've been trained, and the majority of data that these models have been fed are based on the English language. But your culture has a wealth of information there, and you also have a different way in which you all learn. And bringing that to the fore means looking at these technical systems and trying to deploy them in a different manner. So I think we're there. This would take a longer conversation, but I think that's my parting shot. Is this keep your minds open. Keep your minds open.
And a lady should conclude this. Janice.
Oh, where do I start? It's a fascinating panel discussion. Very exciting to hear a lot of the resonation to what we presented come into form in the Uganda context. Excuse me. It's quite exciting to think about gathering that information and identifying the value based upon the actual resources there in Uganda, and turning that into your digital transformation data set. So I'm speaking about some practicalities now. So turning that into the actual data set from the standpoint and of using a lot of the technologies that are available, such as machine learning to analyze, AI, which is the deeper personalization when we're talking about education in particular, of how it can be utilized and understanding. As the student so eloquently said, she shared, well, I'm using it, but it's an opportunity of also reading in context and being able to make sure that there's a human in the loop. You have to have that human concept. The chatbots, the AIs are all being generated, and the generation, or generative AI, if you will, is all new concept that is based upon old training. So I share the idea of research from old school, of just looking at the books and going into the library, to everything being digitized now. So we have to utilize the digital information, but yet we can also curate it in such a way that it is personalized for us, and we're training it. So I mentioned inclusion, key factor, get online, understand what it's about, have a better context, be concerned about the information that you put in it. A lot of people go on to try to stump the AI, but we're all training it. And so if we can train to actually work within those incubators that was shared earlier, to build out the actual workforce that is needed, to have more entrepreneurship, more SMEs coming into the forefront, and innovation also being built. Thank you very much. Innovation. Thank you.
And thank you so much for the parting shots, Janice.
My pleasure.
Mr. Kajubi, you really left with us a bothering question. The cost of inaction. Drawing from this panel, I was asking succinctly at what point do we say we are, whether we are taking on technology rather too early, or we are giving up too soon, or we are adopting it rather too late, or we are hanging in for rather too long? That was disturbing, but it's an opener for a further discourse, and I want to thank BMC for the opportunity. Thank you so much, wonderful panel. Thank you, everyone.
Kindly remain where you're seated. You deserve, all of you, to remain where you're seated, because we are going to have to manage time in a way we've never handled it, but I think the US way, to ensure that the photos are taken in a certain way to remember this day. So may I humbly request, as you remain, the photography team to take, let us request the representative of the Vice Chancellor. I've been informed that is Professor Winza Mukadas to join the team at the stage. The Principal, College of Education and External Studies, kindly join. The Deputy Principal, Dr. Ronald Bisasso, still you're the chair organizing committee, please join. And also our dignitaries from US Mission Uganda, kindly join the first photo. And yes, our keynote speakers are also displayed on the screen, so we are going to make sure they are captured. We are going to have 3 photos, so this is the first photo. Elias. Let me take this opportunity to recognize the following online participants. We have Professor Josephine Ahikide, Principal, College of Humanities and Social Sciences. She has been following us online. Professor Livingstone Rubobi, former Vice Chancellor, Makerere University, is following online. Professor Picho, DVC Finance and Administration, Muni University, is following the lecture online. Professor Eli Sabit, Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs, Busitema University, is following the lecture online. And in the room, we are pleased to have members of Makerere University Council. We have Dr. Diana Ahumuza Atenyi, member Makerere University Council. Kindly wave, yes. And we also have Honorable Julius Katerega, member Makerere University Council. Yes, other council members, I've seen other council members following online. Are you? Yes. So I'm going to request that you kindly remain. Let me just request Professor Senteza William Kajubi family. N'abebitiibwa. Oh. I kept on saying, Owekitiibwa. I humbly request you to kindly, if you have that title, to kindly join this photo. And also Professor Ham Molida and your dear wife, Dr. Nora Mlida, kindly also join the photo. Mrs. Joyce Mpanga will not be able to join us. But no, let us have this. Then after, we will see how to incorporate Mrs. Joyce Mpanga in. Maybe after here. So this is the photo moment. We have the US Mission Team Uganda, Makerere University team, the 2 council members who are physically present, the 2 members of Makerere University Council who are present. Is Professor Lugujo still with? No. Okay. So, a minute, let us allow the 2 Makerere University Council members to join the photo. And you're smiling on behalf of the online participants. So, this is the Professor Senteza Kajubi Fulbright Memorial Lecture. (2023). Thank you so much. Now the students will not forgive me. So I'm going to humbly request abebitibwa bebasoke baveewo. Then I'm requesting the students who are very fast meaning in 2 minutes, to kindly remain to join this photo. Students kindly who are too fast, they had really requested for this photo. Please bear with me. And I think you can see the speed. The students had really requested for this photo, and you can even see the speed at which they are joining the photo. Yes, at least that is a representative sample of our students. And you're smiling on behalf of the Guild President, His Excellency Robert Maseruka, right? And all the students of Makerere University. Oh, yeah. And we still have the anthems, so hold on. Anga, so that she's also part of. So that is going to be our last photo. We would like Mrs. Joyce Impanga to be part of that photo. And I'm glad that the U.S. Mission Uganda team has already, yes, wow, that's lovely. Yes, Mrs. Joyce Impanga photo moment during Professor Senteza Kajubi Fulbright Memorial Lecture. Okay. Dorothy, emphasizing the need for artificial intelligence as we digitize higher education. Yes, so next on the agenda, let us all rise so that we sing the anthems, and we are going to be guided by Makerere University Community Choir. Makerere University Community Choir is going to lead us in the anthems in reverse order. Thank you so much.
Makerere, Makerere, we build for the future, the great Makerere. Great, great and mighty the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty the gates beside thee. Great, great and mighty the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty the gates beside thee. From east and west, from north and south, all voices singing arise. Makerere, rise up and rise, high up and high. All voices singing arise. Makerere, 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 we build for the future. The great Makerere, great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee. Great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee. E Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the rampants we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, their bombs blasting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, of the free and the of the brave. Our future in thy hand, united, free for liberty, together we'll always stand. Oh, Uganda, the land of freedom, our love and labor we give, and with neighbors all out our country, calling peace and friendship we will live. Oh, Uganda, the land that was by
Vice Chancellor, Professor, represented by Professor Mukadas Windsor, the academic